Jim, how are we doing? Yeah, I'm live from Coventry where Sam Eggington challenges for the IBO Super Welterweight Championship. So we've got a real good card up in the Midlands at the moment. Is really thriving with young talent coming through. And yeah, we're lucky enough to be doing a fight at the Sky Dome in Coventry this Saturday.
Okay, and it's a Boxer Breakthrough series, isn't it? The card is billed Breakthrough.
Yeah, it certainly is. So we've got, the Boxer series that they do, the competitions that gives the kids at grassroots level the opportunity on the big platform, etc. Former winners, Corey Gibbs is boxing on there. And more recently, Dylan Chima, a real character from just down the road, actually. He's boxing as well. And as I said, Sam Eggington, who's, believe it or not, has been around such a long time, challenges for the IBO title again, but he's still only 28 years of age. But he's been in some real barnstormers over the years. And this fight, again, promises to be equally as good. This could be a potential fight of the year for Eggington again.
Well, you would like to think so. This is good though, Simon. We're going to see what these guys are
made
of.
I mean, one of the fights he talks about was his recent fight that he lost to Ted Cheeseman on, which was a hell of a fight, wasn't it, Spence?
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, he's been in some real barnstormers. He beat Paulie Malignaggi. You remember he put Paulie into retirement. Ted Cheeseman, that fight went down as fight of the year.
Yep.
Challenged Liam Smith as well.
Yeah, he got beat by Bradley Skeet as well, didn't he? Our mate Bradley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does, but he's always in great fights. He likes to come forward, and he's boxing a guy called Zook. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. Zook. Anyway, a Polish guy.
Polish guy.
Anyway, a Polish guy who's
18
unbeaten, and he comes to fight as well. So, yeah, this one potentially could be a great fight.
Okay. In terms of what it's done for the sport itself, what has the Boxer series done, would you say, its contribution?
Well, I think what it does, Jim, is it gives the kids that haven't got that platform the opportunity. I think it's all about opportunity. You get hundreds of kids, like people that watch the boxing on the TV. That's just probably 1% of fighters that are out there. So there's a lot of kids that fight on small hall shows, etc. And what the Boxer series does, like with let's pick out Dylan Chima, who was only 2-0 going into that one, never boxed on TV before, but has now become a star in his own right up here in the Midlands after winning that Boxer series, and he gets an opportunity again here on Saturday night. But he's a really charismatic kid, and what it does, Jim, it just gives them the opportunity and the platform that they need.
Good stuff, Spence. Well, talkSPORT have live boxing commentary from Coventry's Sky Dome this Saturday, Spencer says, and some of the biggest prospects in British boxing will be on show for Boxer's Breakthrough series. From 8 o'clock on Saturday night, Fight Night's Adam Catterall and Gareth A. Davis will be taking you through a big night of boxing with the commentary team of Andy Clark, Spencer Oliver. Fight Night live Saturday night from 8. Spencer, that is then, this is now, and for now, we're concentrating on the events in Saudi Arabia this week. 2 months now we're away from AJ against Usyk, the rematch, and we know it's going to be in Saudi Arabia because of all the money on offer. Spence, going into this, is there more or less pressure, would you say, on Joshua heading into this one than there was in the first fight?
I think there's more, Jim, if I'm honest, because he finds himself now in a situation where he goes in as a bookie's underdog and a huge underdog in my eyes as well. Taking this immediate rematch against Usyk is not really. I think he had to do it. That was the thing where he got beat last time. He had to do it. And he finds himself in a position now that if he loses again, he loses a lot of marketability and his value drops a lot as well. And this is a tough fight. It's a real tough fight because Oleksandr Usyk, who come up from cruiserweight and dominated in the cruiserweight division. We saw him against Derek Chisora in his first heavyweight fight, and he didn't look particularly good against Chisora, but he was still developing into a heavyweight himself. He's had the time now. He looks a lot bigger. He looks like he's filled out a lot more, and I think it could be a more difficult task for Joshua second time around.
We'll get Simon's take on it in a second. Certainly, Joshua said at the pre-fight conference in Jeddah this week, "You guys watch me go."
Blips happen, things happen in life, but resilience, mental toughness, consistency will always prevail. So we're still on the road to undisputed for sure. And it's just a little blip in the road, but I'm focused on the target, which is sitting over there. I'm focused on the goal, and God willing, I'll perform and I'll become 3-time heavyweight champion of the world. I respect people and their craft. I respect him and his craft and what he's achieved. So that only should motivate me to want to get better, right? So if I'm around someone that's better than me on the night or better than me in certain aspects, I have to motivate myself and push myself to be better than them. And that's all it's done, really. And the great thing is I've got a second chance. Like, what got me into boxing in the first place when I was a youngster, I got in a little bit of trouble now and again. And, you know, I was blessed with a second chance. And I found boxing and I took it with both hands. So if you know me and a lot of my story, you can know I'm the comeback king. You can put me down, but it's difficult to keep me down.
I'm not sure there's much in there, Simon, that I take from it that makes me believe that the outcome will be different this time.
I mean, the fact he's taken the fight leads you to the conclusion that he definitively believes the outcome will be different because, as Spencer says, he's on a road to nowhere if he loses this fight to Usyk. It puts him in a very difficult position because all the credibility's gone, all the marketability of where he was as a champion has gone if Usyk does him again. He talks about resilience and mental toughness. Some people could argue that he should have shown a bit more of that against Ruiz in the first fight where people alleged that he swallowed it. And in this fight, it's not going to be resilience and mental toughness that gets him through. They're part of it. It's fighting against the fighter that has an innate ability to make it very, very difficult for him. And of course he's got to bring fortitude and resilience and mental toughness. But he's got to bring something else as well. He's got to bring backbone and balls. He's got to go into that fight knowing this guy nearly knocks him out in the first fight. And he's got to do something very different this time, Spence, isn't it? He's got to stick it on him from the first bell and try and get him out early. Otherwise, he's got a whole raft of problems coming, hasn't he?
Yeah, totally agree, Simon. I think what Anthony Joshua needs to do, and I think he knows this himself, but it's whether he can deliver it, is he needs to rediscover that rawness that took him to the world heavyweight title. You know, that fighting with his heart on his sleeve and he needs to go for it. He can't try and be technical against Usyk, who's the most technical boxer in the world, probably, you know, pound for pound. Joshua's just got to... Totally agree with what you're saying, Simon. I think he's just got to roll the dice from the opening.
I think he can beat him, Spence. I think he's got to be exceptional. He's got everything's got to go right. He's got to come out and he's got to hurt him early. And he's got to take him off his game and he's got to put Usyk in a place that he doesn't like. I think the Chisora fight was Adam Catron, I wanted to ask you the other day, but you weren't around. Adam alludes to the fact that he reckons the Chisora fight, when Usyk fought Chisora, he was playing possum with it because he wasn't putting out the best performance, not to alert the heavyweight division that he really was a legitimate bona fide heavyweight. I wondered what you thought of that. And also, in this fight with this time round, someone has got to stick it on Usyk, and it has to be Anthony to win this fight and put him in a place that he's not been before. Yeah,
I totally agree with that. But look, I don't think he was playing possum last time, Usyk. I think that what happened was he'd stepped up and he'd recognised, like Derek Chisora's that type of guy that, you know, technical ability, maybe not the best, but he brings a heat and he'll take it straight to you. And Derek used his size and his strength in that fight. And Usyk, I think, was surprised and it took a little bit of figuring out. But when he got into a rhythm, second half of the fight, he started controlling things. But that was him coming up from cruiserweight into the heavyweight division and realising just how big these guys are. Yeah, exactly. But now he's had that time to develop. So that doesn't go in Anthony Joshua's favour. Well, you know, I think he looks bigger for this fight than he did before. And I think that he's going to pose Joshua a lot of problems because if Joshua does take the fight to him early and
he's going to get caught
and he can stand there with him and he gets caught. Yeah, we know that Oleksandr Usyk, we saw it in the last fight, that Usyk hurt Joshua badly in the 12th round and he hurt him previously in, I think it was the 3rd or 4th round, 6th round. So we know that he carries the power to be able to do that. So
certainly, Spencer, we know now this new fella who's looking after Joshua, Robert Garcia. He's now his trainer. He was quite blunt about the whole thing. He's like, Joshua, don't worry about him. He's my man. Listen to this.
Anthony needs to be himself. You know, he needs to believe in himself. I think what I'm here doing with him is bringing his best qualities, his big techniques out. You know, he was holding back a little too much in the previous fight. Like he says, you know, he was focusing on just boxing, but he could also be an aggressive fighter, and he could also box even in this fight. You know, we might even end up having to box a little bit, but you know, he also has the power, he has the height, the reach to be aggressive too. So we're working on everything together, you know. And the main thing is that he's listening. You know, we sit down and watch videos together. We watch our sparring together, and he's there listening and writing down his notes.
So Garcia's saying, Simon, have a go this time, Anthony.
Oh yeah, he can't do, Spence. He can't go back and get his world title back from Usyk the same way he got it back from Ruiz, which is keep Ruiz on the end of a jab and win the fight by that methodology. He's going to have to go and get involved with trying to knock this guy out early in this fight, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%. He's got to go and stamp his authority early. He's got to take that gamble from round one. He can't allow Usyk to get into any sort of rhythm, because if he gets into a rhythm, that's going to be difficult to break. He's not just a good boxer, Usyk. He's a durable guy that likes to have a fight as well. He poses so many problems for Joshua. Garcia's come in, and we'll only find out on the night if that's a good or a bad thing, you know, has he had time to adapt. Anthony Joshua, I know personally, and I know he's a guy that thinks a lot. He's a guy that he absorbs information like a sponge, but he sometimes overthinks it.
This one isn't about thinking, though, is it, Spence? He's got to go into this fight and throw punches in clusters, isn't he?
Yeah, he has, but it's got to be educated pressure, because if he just goes in there recklessly, Simon, Usyk's got the ability to step off the line, tag him with shots, and we know he can be hurt.
I'll tell you what, Spencer, as we head to this break, and thanks for joining us from Coventry today. All we need is one word from you, Mr. Oliver, and I'll get the same from Simon. Is it Usyk or is it Joshua?
I'm going Joshua. I'm going to go with my man.
He hesitated a bit, didn't he?
So am I.
Well, listen,
I'm with Spence. I'm so clear in my mind that I don't see how Joshua can beat him, but I'm so concerned that he's taken this fight that there's a sting in the tail. And I just don't know whether Usyk's going to be the same fighter with all that's going on in the back of his mind, with the Ukrainian situation, all that's going on with the expectation on him now. Yeah. And Anthony Joshua, if he is ever going to be a comeback kid, this is the moment. Not Ruiz wasn't a comeback. That was a blip. This is a comeback.
Okay, Spence, listen, thank you so much for that. And remember, find that live at 8 o'clock Saturday night. Spence is involved, so too Adam Catterall and Gareth A. Davis.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.